Greetings and welcome to one of my first videos for my new YouTube site for online adjuncts. And in this first video, what I would like to go over is the way I go about finding jobs, or how I might go about trying to find a job. I don't always get them, but I think I have a pretty good system for going out and looking for online adjunct work. Okay, so what we're going to start with here is the importance of having an email template. Now, a lot of what we do is the same thing as cold calling. When we use an email and we're sending it out and we don't know who we're sending it to, or we do know who we're sending it to but we don't have an invite, that's a cold call email. Now I'm going to show you how I set up my cold call email, and I begin by setting up a template, an Outlook email template, which is not the same thing as a draft. A template is much different. And the way we're going to start off this little video is by showing you how we go about doing that. And the first thing we want to do is open up our Outlook. And I'm using Outlook 2013, but the steps would be the same for 2010 or 7. First thing we want to do is make sure we have the developer option up inside of the Outlook ribbon. And we're going to get that by going over here, and we're going to right click, and we're going to customize the ribbon. Over here on the right menu, just scroll down till you come to the developer. If it's not available, just check the box. Check the box and just say OK, and then the developer option will appear up inside of your Outlook ribbon. Now once we have that done, we can go ahead and start building our template. And the way we're going to do this is we're just going to start a new email. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my template for my particular job search. Now this is real simple format, and now what I did was I went out and I searched for cold call emails, and I found a lot of them for salespeople. And we know what we're doing here. We're actually trying to sell ourselves, and we're wanting somebody to take the time to open that email without deleting it and actually read what we write, and then look at our credentials and then see if they got something or a need for an online adjunct with our skill set. So it's pretty important that we do this correctly. We don't want it too long. We don't want it too short. There's no spelling, grammatical errors. It's all been proved. Everything's good to go. Now I took a number of different cold call emails and I put them together, and I came up with one that I thought I liked. Now, if you have a different opinion, then please, by all means, go with what you know and go with what feels good for you. Now, I sell myself as a technology online adjunct, all right? And so that's what I'm trying to sell here in this cold call email to either the course program, the provost, or the online director, or the chairperson for a particular technology program at a particular online college or university. So you can see what I've done here. Now this may not fit for everybody. Somebody might want to go longer and more in detail, but it's just an introduction. Save the big stuff for your cover letter. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy that, close this out. I'm going to go back to my Outlook. Now in my Outlook, I'm just going to go to a new email, which I already have open down here. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that in there like that. All right, now once we have everything up in here, we can go ahead and we can start adding in our documents. Okay, so I want to add in cover letter. I want to add in my transcripts. Do another insert here, attach documents. Go down to my transcripts folder. Okay, I want my CV in here. Now the cover letter may be optional. You don't have to put that in there right away, because we're going to talk about how we go about personalizing as much of this as we possibly can. So a lot of times you don't want to do this unless you just absolutely don't know the person you're trying to contact and you're just shotgunning it. And we're just going to blast away, and hopefully maybe they need an adjunct with our skill set. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and attach that CV one more time. Okay, let me scroll down here and get that. Now, I like to send everything in a doc format. And the reason I do that is a couple of reasons. One is not everybody's using DocX. Not everybody's going to open a PDF. Not everybody's going to want to see my information in a PDF. Now, the transcripts, granted, that's got to be pretty much sent in PDF. I don't want to convert that to a Word document. The formatting, just not there. But for everything else, I like to just send a doc format. That makes it compatible with 2007, 2010, or 2013. All right, now I've got my template set up here, and I've got my documents attached, and all I have to do now is just drop in the email, okay? And up here I've got this ready to go with their name and their title. Now, we go ahead and we're going to do a file, save as, and we're going to pull this up down here like so, and we're going to save this as an Outlook template. Now, when I go in and I say that I'm going to save something as a template, it takes me up to that developers folder. I end up inside of the developers folder, and that's where this is all taking place. Now, I've already got my template set up and ready to go, right? But I'll just go ahead and, for grins and giggles, we'll just go ahead and we'll finish out this process here. And I'll just call this template test. Okay, just like that. And what I'm going to do is save. Okay, now I can close this out. And I can go and I can do go to my developer, and here's where this is how I open the template once I've saved it. This is where I go into the developer option and I choose a form. From the form, we're going to choose user templates and file system. Now you can see that here's the template that I created. Okay, this is my actual template that I use. I'll open that up for you. Okay, so I've changed this one just a little bit. I've gotten rid of the contractions. I've changed the greeting. So everything in here is ready to go. The only thing I'm missing in here is my cover letter. Okay, so close that out. And that's how I go about creating the Outlook template. Now, this greatly reduces the time on station when you're going out and you're trying to apply for jobs. Okay, so go ahead and set yourself up that template and save yourself a lot of time and effort. All right, now the next thing we like to do is figure out, where do we get these jobs? Where do we find these jobs? Okay, now let's start off with Peterson's online school search, or school search I should say. I just happen to use it for their online school search. Now they have Peterson's is at petersons.com, and they're basically a database of every school in the United States. Okay, so if you want to find a particular school, this is where you go. Now what I'm going to do here is I've gone into their online database for online schools, and it came up with, for me, because I teach technology, and I filtered it down to information technology. Of all the online schools that are in the United States, Peterson is telling me that there are 1,119 online schools found with information technology programs. Great. Excellent. Now, what I do, and let me tell you my philosophy on teaching online. I like small schools. Small schools are less hassle. There's less requirements pushed out to the adjuncts. There's less requirements pushed out to the adjuncts because they just don't have the staff, perhaps, to flog the adjuncts as much as the bigger schools do. So I prefer the smaller schools. I don't get as much work, but if you get enough of the smaller schools, you can pick up enough adjunct work to keep you busy. Okay, now we see that I'm looking at some schools here, and you'll notice that the schools do repeat themselves uh, depending on what the different programs are for their information technology. They might have an information management program, they might have an information security program, they might have a business information program. So you're going to see the same school name repeated over and over and over again, but there are a lot of still there are a lot of schools still available to choose from. Now, a lot of these schools are pretty small and they have a pretty small student population, but again, I'm playing the numbers. I'm betting that if I apply to 1,119 schools, and I'm not going to, but if I did apply to the 1,119 online schools, I'm betting that I can get a positive response from at least 1 to 3% of those schools. All right. So play the numbers and see what you come up with. Out of 1,119 schools, you see the 1% is what I'm shooting for. Okay. So that would be like what, 11 schools, 19 schools, something like that. 3% would be much more. But what I'm doing here is, again, I'm just playing the numbers. That's all I'm doing. And there's a number of ways that you can do this. You can filter this thing down to your specialty, your online uh, credentials. For instance, if I was teaching accounting, that's what would go in here. If I was teaching business, that's what would go in there. If I was teaching psychology, that is what would go in there. Now, again, you can't just get work by applying to one or two schools. The chances of that happening are slim to none. You really do have to apply yourself. Now, let's talk about how I'm going to put my package together for whatever particular school I want to apply for. So we have Fisher, Lawrence Technology, Kaplan, Simmons College, Safford. So you can see these are just continuing to repeat themselves. Belmont, South Texas College. Now again, these are all online. So I have a BAT in Computer Information Technology. Well, how do I find the person to contact? Well, up here in Peterson, it's kind of sweet. It's kind of a nice thing. If I go to the particular school that I want to apply to and just click on the school name, it takes me over to the information page for that particular college or university. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom, let's see what we have. Here's what we get. I have both the chairperson and I have the dean of distance learning. Okay, very nice. I have the address, I have their email, I have their phone number, and I have, more important than anything else, is I have their name. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all this information and I'm going to personalize my cover letter. I'm going to personalize my cold call email. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how I do that. Now what I do is I just go ahead and just copy everything like this. And now another thing before we get started here, we'll notice that we have two points of contact here. As long as it's not the marketing or the admissions director, I'm going to go ahead and probably send out two emails. I'm going to cover all my bases. If I'm contacting the school, I'm going to cover all my bases. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this here. And I'm going to go back over to my cover letter, which is in the doc format, this one right here. Now, everybody's got a different cover letter. This is my template. This is the template for my cover letter. This is what I use. Okay. Now, I researched this and I came up with the idea that I want my cover letter no more than 1 page in length, and I want it to highlight what I have to offer, what I'm going to do for the school. What am I going to do for the school? Not what the school is going to do for me. And we're going to save all the salutations and all that good stuff for when we meet. In the meantime, here's what I can do for your school. All right, that's how you want to go about this, okay? Here's what I bring to the table. All right, so this is my template. Now I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to copy and paste this. Now I'm going to format it. All right, I don't need all this information. I don't need this. And I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to continue formatting. Make sure everything looking good. All right, you only get one chance at this, okay? So now I'm going to go back over here to my template in my Outlook, and I'm going to go ahead and just go to my developer, open this up, go to my user templates in the file system, bring up my template here, and this is ready to go. All right, so now who are we talking to? Let's talk about who are we addressing here. I'm talking to a dean. He's worked hard. He's earned the title of dean. He likes to be called dean, just like generals like to be called general. All right, so I'm gonna start this off as dean. I don't want to talk. I want to address him by his title. He's very proud of that, and he should be. So that's how we help get our foot in the door, huh? Right? All right. So it's Dear Dean Ade, okay? And I'm going to put up their email address. And then I'm going to check this out real hard and heavy. Let me go ahead and just cut that out of there because I don't need that. All right. And now this looks pretty good. Formatting's everything. Make sure we don't have no misspellings. Make sure that everything looks copacetic. The formatting looks good. We got 1-inch margins all the way around. It looks good, right? The paragraphs are 3 to 4 sentences long. I got some bullets in there highlighting all my goodies. Okay, it looks pretty good to me. All right, so now let's go back to my template. I'm going to put in the email address right there, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to save my cover letter, and this is for the South Texas College. Now I'm going to build me a folder for South Texas College, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save as, and I'm going to browse up to where I keep all my goodies, okay? And I'm going to right click in here. I'm going to go to new, create a folder, copy and paste, open up that folder. If I can find it again here, South Texas College, there we are. There's my cover letter. All right, now one more check before we send this off. Okay, we only get one chance to make that great impression. All right, right there it is. I was getting ready to mail that off, and I was calling the dean madam. Well, we don't want to do that. I want to call this guy Dean. Dean Ade. And make sure that we spell the name correctly. That's why I like to copy and paste. That's why I like to copy and paste. Because if it comes off of the site, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be correct. I'm hoping that it's going to be correct. All right. So now I've got this here, and it looks, my cover letter looks pretty good. I've checked it over. Everything looks copacetic. Let's go ahead and do a file, do a save as, browse. I've probably already done this once. There it is right there. Okay, so I've already done it. Close this out. I'm going to say save. Now let's go over here and let's insert this guy. All right, so let's go to South Texas College, find my cover letter, and we are ready to go. It took me about 5 minutes. It should take you about 5 to 10 minutes for each one of these, okay? You want to do about 10 or 15 a day, whatever you can do, like in an hour or so. You can do them like during the commercials when you're watching your favorite TV show. You can do them while you're just grading. You can do them when you want to take a break. Just go up and keep track of who you're sending your package out to, because the last thing you want to do is spam somebody. All right. The first email is always going to be usually nice. It usually comes back, thank you for your submission. Unfortunately, we don't have anything for you at this time, but we will keep your resume or your CV on file for the next year. Or they'll tell you to go ahead and use this link here to fill out our online job application. All right, make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. Make sure that when they send you that link for that online job application, that you do that. That's very important. All right. Um, so we got everything ready to go here. So I'm just go ahead and send this off. Bam, ready to go. And we're going to do the same thing with this guy over here. All right. You never know who you're talking to. You just never know. You might just get a break. Now the idea is, of course, that they're going to need you. Well, you happen to be Johnny on the spot, and now they need you. Okay. So where else do I find my jobs? Well, there are two other sites that I use. Uh, an acquaintance of mine from online, Matt Cobb, runs Adjunct World. I would highly suggest that you go up to Adjunct World and you get yourself a subscription. Every week, Matt sends out all the latest adjunct jobs, and you can see if there's something in there that'll work for you. Those are job alerts. Now, if you want to subscribe to Adjunct World, it's only $13 a month, and you can have a personalized job agent where Matt will send you the jobs that are particular to your skill set. All right. So well worth the $13. I've been a subscriber for probably 5 or 6 years now, and I think it's great. I don't know if I've gotten a whole lot of jobs from it, but you know what? I keep applying. That's all you can do. Just keep applying. All right. Now the other one that I use for a job alert is Higher Ed Jobs. Okay. And in this one here, you can just go up and you can do a job search on online remote. Okay. Now, again, this is free, and I've been a member of this one for the longest time. Don't know if I've ever gotten any hits, positive hits off of this, but again, I keep applying. Now, I think have had more success. I think I have had more success with cold calling emails than anything else. Honestly, I think that's true. When Matt Cobb used to have Adjunct World, he had a blog, and on that blog, he had a Excel database that had over, I think, 800 and some odd schools, and I used that. That's what I used. And back in 2009, 2010, 11, I would just every August before the fall, when everybody comes back to school, I would just send out those emails. I would send out 400 or 500 emails. Out of those 400 or 500 emails, I would pick up 3 or 4 jobs. Okay. Now, with that information, I'm hoping that everybody's going to be able to understand how I go about applying for an online job as an online adjunct and how I find work. It's just one of those things that you just can't sit back on your laurels and thinking that you're going to get a positive hit with 1 or 2 jobs. It's not going to happen. You've got to go out and you've got to apply. And if you keep doing it, after a while, I don't know, it may take a year, it may take 2 years, you will get a positive return. You just can't give up. All right. You just got to keep going at it. All right. So if you have any questions, go ahead and post them to the YouTube comments, or you can email me, and I'll be glad to help answer any of your questions. All right. All right. I'll talk with you later. Bye.